All right, of course, as usual, Kiwanuka Jumah on PBS TV, straight to the world. As usual, I always bring you the program known as The Nation's Narrative, where we discuss about serious issues, vital issues in the country, of course. I call them to be serious because really they tell you and they teach you what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to know, of course, as a person. Tonight, of course, we are going to discuss about broadcasting and, of course, communication. You know, communication is is quite a vital issue or an impact in our daily life as human beings. And days back, or years back, communication was so difficult, of course, people to get the information from one place to another, as we know very well that people used to run from in a fair distance to reach the message to those people where the information is supposed to reach. But tonight I have an experienced man, I have a person who is totally full of content about what concerns about communication in those years back. And of course, I'll give him a chance, of course, to say regards to you, and then, of course, we shall proceed from there.
Yeah, I'm happy that you've chosen to talk to me about communication, which communication today has developed rapidly. Each day, each passing day, something new is coming up as compared to others.
Okay, of course, as we proceed, maybe people who are watching you straight on you, PBS TV, would like to know. Of course, they are seeing you and they're watching you, but they would like to know, who are you?
Bwayo Richard Katami is my name, and I've stayed in the media for quite a long time.
I see. Of course, you know, the reason as to why, of course, I chose him, he's a mature man, and he knows a lot of things that people outside there, you are unaware of them. And we have to bring such people, of course, on the podium to tell us and to teach us what we would like to know that we never had a chance of knowing in those years back. Because the young generation, the youth, I know 100% the youth are missing such a great information or such a message. So just tune in PBS TV, of course, you'll get to know all the information concerning about communication right from those years back, something back. Of course, tonight, Mr. Bwayo, I would like to know, those years back, I understand communication was quite somehow challenging. How people were able to make communication?
Yeah, communication started long ago, but according to what I hear and what later on I experienced also before the development of communication as it is today, messages were there, but real messages, for example, if you wanted to send a message to your dear one, maybe informing them of the death of somebody, that was one of the major things. Maybe you'd write or by mouth send somebody to take that message to reach where that person is you want to know. So people could use maybe bicycles at the time when bicycles came, or could run, like even in Europe, we hear of marathon. Recently, we concluded Olympics. But that marathon gives you an example for message taking. Somebody was running from Sparta to some place. I'm not doing so much in that one. So it was part of delivering a message from one place to another, from one person to another. But with time, things came in to enable messages to be sent easily and quickly, and today instantly. Somebody may die within 2 minutes, 5 minutes. So many people have known because of the advancement in telecommunication. And somebody may ask, if I have a relative, maybe who is working in Kavale, and for me, I'm in Jinja. How will somebody, or how long will somebody, how will it take that somebody, because during that time there were no vehicles and whatever, how will it take the person to deliver the message, then come back, and yet we didn't have facilities maybe for preserving in the case of a dead person and so on. But remember, during that time, intermarriages were not encouraged. Not encouraged, but were not possible.
Yeah.
Somebody could not move from Bugisu to go to Ankole or to go to Busoga. Actually, it was far. People were marrying or intermarrying within marrying within close range, not far. It may be far, but walkable. That's why people were able to move and take messages.
Okay, you talked about the issue of reading and writing. I will ask, during that time, you mean we had people who were able to read and write?
Such came on as communication developed. But I understand there was a way of communicating in the form of a letter. Maybe they put in something, a leaf, which signifies this. I was told in a place, if you were passing around, then you see something displayed, you know, there is this, there is that happening. So they had symbols that could show. So as long much as writing and reading came later on, but they had their symbols, they had their way of communicating.
Okay, assuming like you talked about people writing on a leaf. So was it so very quick and like was it so easy for someone to write a message on a leaf and then he sends it to someone?
Yeah, there were very few. It was not easy, and somebody had to understand. It is like when you bring somebody who interprets. If you interpret to somebody who has not learned the science you are doing, then it may not work. So in the same way, there were very few who could have such things that could interpret, or I can call them signs or whatever.
Okay, and then we have seen quite a change in terms of communication. That like the issues of technology is also coming into the transmission of communication to be on a faster pace, like on a quick pace. No, I would like to ask a question. UBC right now is called UBC, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation.
Yeah.
I remember those days back, like basing on the research that I've done, it was called Radio Uganda. Someone would like to know what made it to be called Radio Uganda, and what makes it to be changed to UBC from Radio Uganda?
Yeah, in the early 1950s, under Sir Andrew Cohen, an idea for bringing in radio broadcasting in Uganda was mooted. Then feasibility studies were given to Engineer Graham of BBC. He did his homework, and it was passed that radio be introduced in Uganda. And in 1954, to be precise, on 1st March, the first signal of radio was heard in Uganda. At that time, it was Uganda Protectorate. Under Sir Andrew Cohen, we were under the British government, so the leaders of the country, then Uganda Protectorate, were queens at that time, of course, queens representatives. So we were under British. So Radio Uganda was born, not Radio Uganda, sorry. Radio in Uganda was introduced in 1954, called Uganda Broadcasting Service.
Meaning it was the only radio station around in the country.
Yeah, people had never heard of radio apart from maybe those who used to go abroad to study, and I believe very few people owned even a radio set, apart from those who had gone, maybe business people or people who had gone on academics to study elsewhere and came with radio sets. So it was named Uganda Broadcasting Services. When Uganda attained independence in 1962, it was named now Radio Uganda. So radio
after attaining
independence. So then in 1971, Idi Amin, of course, captured the power, and later on, because for him it was by decree, he decreed that it is Uganda Broadcasting Corporation. Until
maybe before you continue, Mr. Bwayo, someone would like to know when it was called Radio Uganda. Uganda was under which government?
When we attained independence in 1962, now we were. It was slave rule for Uganda.
Okay.
So the head of state at that time was Prime Minister. It was not president like today. It was Prime Minister who was the head of state.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we had, because the constitution that time, we had president and vice president, but the president didn't have the executive powers. The executive powers of the head of the nation was in the prime minister, and at that time that was Milton Obote. Yeah. Then Kabaka Mutesa was the president, but he was ceremonial. Yeah, it is like now today when you look at KCCA, mayor or Lord Mayor,
Yes,
he's a ceremonial.